Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Reality's coming. Diana Taurasi told Caitlin Clark before her WNBA debut. But what happened next? The rookie didn't just survive, she flipped the script. Taurasi tried to put her in her place, but Clark responded by breaking records and changing the league. That's not just answering back, it's rewriting history.
Well, I cannot believe we are fixing to have a talk about this particular player in the WNBA because I thought she was supposed to be gone.
Taurasi's tone has shifted, and what she's saying about Clark now? Unbelievable. Remember when Diana said Caitlin wasn't ready for the big leagues? That statement set the basketball world on fire. In a recent interview, Taurasi's words, they've completely changed.
You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time. But there is going to be a transition period where you're going to have to give yourself some grace as a rookie. And, it might take a little bit longer for some people.
Just like that, it was set. A showdown between the old guard and the new wave of women's basketball. Taurasi's words weren't just casual chatter, they sparked a fire. Within hours, social media was divided, with WNBA legend fans facing off against the college phenom's supporters. You could feel the battle lines being drawn.
We know what she said. We all remember it. There's going to be a transition period. There's going to be a reality check. Yada, yada, yada. All right. Caitlin Clark ultimately got the last laugh over Taurasi. The 23-year-old still made sure to pay respects to one of the league's most decorated players.
What's wild is how fast people picked sides. Some fans backed Taurasi, citing her decades of experience and championships. She's just speaking facts, they said. But Clark's supporters saw something else. Jealousy? Fear of being replaced? The debate exploded on every sports talk show and Twitter thread.
And we know how Taurasi came back, tried to back off her comments after she got the handed to her by Caitlin Clark on multiple occasions.
Veterans questioning rookies isn't new, but Taurasi's public comments hit differently. They added to a growing wave of doubt about Clark's WNBA transition. Analysts voiced skepticism. She won't get those shots against pros. The physicality will be too much. These narratives piled on, creating huge pressure before Clark even played her first game.
Really, Taurasi said some glowing things about Clark after the game. Why did that matter? Because she made the whole reality is coming comments, and she was also and is also maybe the, biggest figure in the history of the sport, certainly in that conversation, right? And when she said the reality is coming thing, that kind of became the mantra to Clark's rookie season.
But have you seen how Clark responded? Instead of firing back, she took the high road. When asked about Taurasi's comments, Clark simply said, "That's somebody I grew up idolizing. No trash talk, no defensiveness, just pure respect." Can you feel the tension building toward their first matchup?
Because we remember what she said to Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter for ESPN months ago, when she said there's levels to this. It's one thing to go against young girls and stuff like that. You about to go up against grown women. We're going to be waiting for.
Fans circled this game, rookie versus legend. Would Taurasi back up her words, or would Clark prove she belonged? The hype was unreal, but Clark wasn't fazed. She got the best of Taurasi in their first matchup.
Obviously, a lot was made of this matchup between yourself and Diana Taurasi. I know she's one of your idols. How big is it for you to get a win here against her today?
I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game. And like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible.
Did Taurasi underestimate Clark's ability to adapt? It's hard to say otherwise. While Taurasi warned her about reality, Clark was quietly preparing to exceed expectations. Her response? Letting her game do the talking.
Diana Taurasi famously said reality is coming for Caitlin Clark when she gets to the WNBA. But the reality is Taurasi also has a ton of respect for Clark, as she expressed following the Fever's win over the Phoenix Mercury in the first ever career head-to-head matchup.
That quiet preparation was no show. It was the calm before a storm. While others debated if Clark could handle the WNBA's physicality, she was planning something unprecedented. Not just competing with legends like Taurasi, but surpassing them and forcing the entire basketball world to rethink rookie potential.
The best point guard in the WNBA, objectively, Caitlin Clark. In her one professional season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark came away with an average of 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds for the season.
From the moment Clark hit the court for the Indiana Fever, she didn't play like a rookie. She played like she owned it. Game after game, her stats had analysts double-checking their numbers. 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds. She didn't just lead rookies. She led the whole league in assists and three-pointers. This wasn't adapting to the pros. This was redefining rookie potential. All of this happened under a microscope. Every move, every shot picked apart in real time on social media. The pressure would have crushed most, but Clark thrived on it. She used those doubts as fuel, especially when facing the team of her biggest critic.
By the way, Caitlin Clark has made some remarks about Diana Taurasi, and it seems the one player she had the most fun taking to the woodshed, and who could blame her after the there's going to be a reality check. Yeah, you're right. You got swept by the rookie, destroyed, obliterated. Caitlin Clark made some comments, and she has come out and said, basically, crushing Diana Taurasi was her favorite part of last year.
When Clark faced the Phoenix Mercury, she didn't just compete, she dominated. In one game, she dropped 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds, leading her team to victory. And it wasn't a fluke. The Fever swept the Mercury in their regular season matchups. The rookie, who was supposed to struggle against veterans, was now beating them consistently.
She got a dose of her own medicine real fast, did she not? Talked all that trash, all of that trash. That didn't work out very well for you at all.
Clark wasn't done making statements. In a poetic twist, she broke Taurasi's three-point record, hitting her 122nd to pass the legend who doubted her. If there was ever a I belong here moment, that was it.
And of course, no one has more gravitas in the space than Taurasi. But when Taurasi sort of, deaded all that and embraced Clark, it felt like the moment a lot of the tensions would break down. Of course, that wasn't completely the case, as we've seen. But in that moment, it did feel like, all right, you've made it. You've earned it, right? Like, you've shown it. There's no fronting on your game.
What's most impressive? Clark didn't just shine individually. She transformed the Indiana Fever. A team that had been irrelevant for years made their first playoff appearance since 2016, all with Clark leading the way. She didn't just join a team, she revitalized it, bringing fans back like never before.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Clark's impact went beyond her team. For the first time, the WNBA outdrew the NHL in average live viewers during the regular season. The league Taurasi helped build for years was now booming, thanks to the rookie she had once doubted.
And it's very interesting that all of a sudden a player that was supposed to, Diana Taurasi is supposed to retire, right? The old dinosaur is supposed to retire. Well, now you have outlets talking about landing spots for Diana Taurasi. Wait, come again?
The moment everything changed? When Taurasi put her arm around Clark. That wasn't just a gesture. It marked the start of a surprising shift. After weeks of domination, Taurasi's dismissive attitude gave way to respect.
Caitlin Clark being embraced by Diana Taurasi after the Fever beat the Mercury in that game and they played each other was one of the coolest moments of the WNBA season.
You could almost see Taurasi's internal struggle. After 2 decades of dominance, she watched a rookie take the league to new heights. How do you process that? The answer came in a moment no one saw coming.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go from kindergarten to first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct, and like anything, greatness is going to translate, and she's proven that in every level, and I don't see it being any different in the WNBA.
What Caitlin has done in her short career is nothing short of remarkable. Those words, from Diana Taurasi herself, the same player who'd warned Clark about the harsh reality of the pros. Talk about a 180. The basketball world did a double take. Was this the same Taurasi who'd been dismissive months ago? This wasn't just acknowledgement, it was a full endorsement that shook the league.
Caitlin Clark, she declined an invitation to participate in a special challenge during NBA All-Star Weekend next month. That's what Shams reported on Wednesday. Now, Clark's representatives, they expressed her desire to have her first three-point contest be at the WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer. Shanae, I'm not mad at it. What do you make of this decision?
Look, I not only respect it, I absolutely wholeheartedly support.
Well, it's official, you guys. Caitlin Clark is not competing in the three-point contest at NBA All-Star.
What happens when the biggest star in women's basketball says no to the NBA? Caitlin Clark, a record-breaking force and trailblazer on the court, just did exactly that. In a move that's sparking controversy and shaking up sports media, Clark turned down an invitation to join the NBA's three-point contest at All-Star Weekend. Rather than stepping into the spotlight as the NBA's special attraction, she's making a bold statement about where true recognition belongs. Stay tuned as we dive into how this decision is flipping the script and what it means for the future of the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark knows how to use the word that many people struggle all their lives being able to use. Some of us never get it till we're old and just don't care no more. The word, take a guess. Take a guess.
Controversy, debate, and, of course, ESPN's outrage. Caitlin Clark, the beacon of the WNBA's future, has just declined an invitation to participate in the NBA's three-point contest at All-Star Weekend.
Well, it has just been confirmed from Shams that Caitlin Clark will not be competing in the NBA three-point contest. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark will not participate in the NBA All-Star Special three-point shootout in San Francisco and wants her first three-point contest to be at WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer. Her representatives at Excel Sports.
Rather than celebrating her choice, the sports media exploded into chaos. Some argue she's simply dodging the competition, while others believe she's boldly championing the WNBA. So what's the true story behind her decision, and why is ESPN so incensed? Stick around because we're unpacking every detail right now. All right, let's jump in. The Caitlin Clark saga has been dominating headlines nonstop. In case you haven't caught wind of it, Caitlin Clark, the undeniable superstar of women's basketball, recently declined an invitation to compete in the NBA's three-point contest during this year's All-Star Weekend. And wow, opinions are flying everywhere. From ESPN to NBA fans and WNBA supporters, everyone is weighing in as the debate continues to heat up.
The momentum that Caitlin Clark has this season, with her being close to being the face of basketball, both men's and women's this year, I just thought it was the perfect stage. And then obviously, the possibility of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson teaming up once again back in Golden State and doing that home reunion thing, and then having Sabrina and Caitlin. To me, it just sounded like so much fun, and it would definitely bring a little spark to NBA All-Star that NBA All-Star, unfortunately, hasn't.
Let's be honest. Caitlin Clark is the biggest name in women's basketball right now. She's more than just a player. She's a phenomenon. Every time she steps onto the court, she shatters records, fills arenas, and pulls in huge TV audiences. So when she decided to pass on the NBA's invitation, it wasn't just a scheduling conflict, it was a powerful statement, one that clearly caught ESPN and many sports analysts off guard. So what prompted her to make this call? Is she intimidated by the competition? Did she miscalculate? Or is she strategically setting the stage for the future, making a power move that still has many scratching their heads?
Is another testament to where she is in the hierarchy of the sports food chain and, the ladder of power and influence. Because Caitlin Clark is Steph Curry and LeBron James. Like she's, there's no difference. A great philosopher once said there's levels to this. She's on that.
Here's the reality about Caitlin Clark. She knows exactly what she's worth. She's not just some player thrilled to get an invite to a high-profile event. She understands that wherever she goes, the cameras roll, the money flows, and the fans rally. So when the opportunity to participate in an NBA event came along, she didn't jump at it like a rookie trying to prove herself. Instead, she made it clear, "Thanks, but I'll pass. I'll host my first three-point contest on my own terms, in my own league."
You see Caitlin Clark using her power to benefit the WNBA, saying, not that she'd never do anything with the NBA, but that she's not going to do it this time because the first time should be with the WNBA in front of the Fever fans.
And that's exactly what's setting off a firestorm of reactions. For years, women's basketball players have been fighting tooth and nail for recognition, respect, and financial support. The WNBA has long been cast in the shadow of the NBA, and whenever a female athlete earns a smidgen of mainstream acclaim, there's this lingering expectation that she should be grateful for even the smallest scraps of attention from the men's league. But Caitlin Clark isn't subscribing to that narrative, she's rewriting it. She made it abundantly clear that she wants her inaugural three-point contest to take place at the WNBA All-Star Game, right in front of her hometown fans in Indiana. And let's be real, that's a savvy move. Why settle for being the NBA's special guest when she can be the headliner of her own show? Why help prop up the NBA's All-Star Weekend ratings when she can shine the spotlight on the WNBA instead? Of course, not everyone is on board with her decision. The moment she turned down the offer, sports analysts went into overdrive. ESPN pundits began to debate whether she was making a grave error, questioning her judgment, while the usual skeptics claimed she was merely dodging competition. Dodging competition? Come on, Caitlin Clark has never shied away from a challenge. She's been demolishing defenses and shattering records her entire career. If she really wanted to join the NBA's three-point contest, she'd be more than capable of holding her own. But that's precisely the point. She refused because she knows her worth, and she refuses to let others call the shots for her. Stephen A. Smith, as per usual, had a lot to say on the matter. For once, he actually backed Clark's decision, though not without throwing in some of his trademark commentary. He noted that last year's WNBA All-Star Game smashed records by drawing in 3.4 million viewers, while the NBA's All-Star Game struggled to hit numbers anywhere near its former glory. The NBA's All-Star Weekend has been losing its luster, no secret there, and it's obvious they were banking on Caitlin Clark to give them a ratings boost. Let's break that down for a moment. The NBA isn't exactly at its prime during All-Star Weekend. The dunk contest has lost its charm, and even the All-Star Game itself is treated more like a casual exhibition than a true contest. Viewership has been on a steady decline, and the overall energy just isn't what it used to be. So when Caitlin Clark enters the picture, a player who's been single-handedly driving TV ratings through the roof and filling arenas, it's clear the NBA saw a golden opportunity. And frankly, from their standpoint, it made total sense. Imagine the buzz. Caitlin Clark going head-to-head with the NBA's best in a three-point contest. The intrigue alone would pull in millions of viewers, but that's exactly why she declined. She recognized that she was being positioned merely as a ratings tool, and she wasn't about to let that happen. Let's not kid ourselves. If she had accepted, the aftermath would have been just as contentious, albeit for different reasons. A win might have been dismissed as merely a shooting contest, not genuine competition. A loss would have fueled claims that the WNBA just can't compare to the NBA. There was no scenario in which she could emerge unscathed in that setup. Instead, she delivered a bold message. The WNBA matters. She's not a novelty act or a side attraction for the NBA's All-Star Weekend. She's the star of her own league. This move might just be one of the most significant power plays we've seen from a women's basketball player in a long time. It's not about avoiding one contest. It's about transforming the narrative around the WNBA. For too long, critics have argued that women's sports depend on the men's leagues to survive, that without the NBA's support, the WNBA couldn't flourish. But Caitlin Clark is proving that theory wrong. She's driving ticket sales, setting new records, and making women's basketball a must-watch spectacle all on its own. Consider this. Just last year, the WNBA saw a surge in both viewership and merchandise sales. The Indiana Fever, the team Clark plays for, accounted for nearly half of the league's entire broadcast value. Half. That's a staggering figure, and it's all thanks to her influence. She's demonstrating that the WNBA doesn't need to rely on the NBA's leftovers to thrive. It can stand tall with its own stars, its own storylines, and its own dedicated fan base. That's why this decision is so monumental. She's setting a new standard. She's telling the next generation of female athletes, you don't have to latch onto the men's league for validation. You can be the main event in your own right. And the impact is already evident. What began as a decision over a three-point contest has blossomed into a full-blown conversation about the future of women's basketball. That's the magnitude of her influence. So yes, ESPN might be seething, the NBA might feel let down, and some fans might be left scratching their heads. But Caitlin Clark is in complete control of her narrative. She's playing the long game, building something far bigger than a single contest. And honestly, you have to respect that. Get ready, WNBA fans, because the season just delivered one of its most electrifying finales yet. As the curtains close on this year's action-packed games, Phoenix Mercury's standout Sophie Cunningham, teammate of the legendary Diana Taurasi, has sparked intense conversations with her bold comments about Caitlin Clark that have everyone buzzing. But that's only scratching the surface. Caitlin Clark didn't just shine this season. She redefined what's possible on the court. From shattered records and jaw-dropping plays to leading the Indiana Fever through an unexpected transformation, her impact was undeniable. And here's the twist. Some of the league's seasoned veterans are feeling the heat. Yes, you heard right. This rising star made such waves that it stirred the egos of established stars. Stay tuned as we break down all the highlights and dive into Cunningham's remarks that have everyone talking. In a recent interview, Sophie shared this eye-opening insight about Caitlin Clark.
But I think they've done a great job in the league as well. I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it. And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing.
Can you believe what's unfolding in the WNBA? A seasoned teammate of the legendary Diana Taurasi is openly lauding a rookie, and that's a rare sight in the league. Sophie Cunningham isn't stopping there. She went on to say, when it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league. But I think that's a really fun thing. If you have anything negative to say about the viewership and everything this rookie class is doing, I just think you're not capitalizing on it and you might be a little jealous. Sophie just unleashed a bombshell against anyone criticizing Caitlin Clark's success and her fellow rookies. Essentially, she's arguing that if you're not thrilled about the league's growth, the issue lies with you. But why is Sophie, an established player, so passionately defending Caitlin Clark and the new rookies? The answer is straightforward: impact. Clark isn't just excelling on the court, she's reshaping the perception of the WNBA. Since her debut, viewership has surged. Stadiums that once had empty seats are now buzzing with fans. People aren't just tuning in to Indiana Fever games. They're buying tickets, jerseys, and buzzing about the WNBA on social media like never before. And here's the kicker. Clark is achieving all this as a rookie. She didn't need years to adapt or build a fan base. She arrived and is already a force to be reckoned with. That's why Sophie and other insightful players recognize that Clark's success translates to the WNBA's success as a whole. But Clark's influence goes beyond scoring. She's redefining the point guard role in the WNBA. Her assists are masterpieces. She spots angles that others miss and delivers passes that leave commentators in awe. The craziest part? She's doing all this while facing defenses specifically designed to stop her. Entire teams have had to rethink their strategies just to contain Caitlin Clark, yet she continues to dominate. This is why veterans like Sophie Cunningham are so impressed. Clark isn't just playing well, she's changing the game, forcing teams and players to adapt and elevate the entire league. Now, let's dive into what Cunningham mentioned that's stirring up the league: the jealousy and criticism targeting Caitlin Clark. It sounds unbelievable, right? A rookie shaking up the league to the point of making veterans envious? But that's the reality. Some players and fans are complaining about the spotlight Clark is stealing, claiming it overshadows more experienced players. But let's be honest, this is pure jealousy. As Sophie Cunningham aptly pointed out, those who gripe about Clark's visibility aren't capitalizing on it and might just be a little envious. And she's spot on. Clark's success doesn't take away from any other player's value. In fact, increased attention benefits everyone in the WNBA. More fans mean more revenue, which can lead to higher salaries, better playing conditions, and more opportunities for all players. Clark is expanding the league's market, attracting new fans who might never have watched a WNBA game before. Once hooked, these fans aren't just following Clark, they're discovering all the incredible talent the league has to offer. That's why savvy players like Cunningham are embracing the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. They understand that a rising tide lifts all boats. Clark's triumphs are the WNBA's triumphs. And let's face it, Clark deserves all the hype. She's not just racking up numbers, she's redefining what's possible in women's basketball. Her passes, court vision, and scoring ability are at a level rarely seen from a rookie. So to those feeling jealous or critical, here's some advice. Instead of complaining, ride the wave. Use this surge in attention to showcase your own talents. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing is opening doors for all WNBA players. Moreover, Clark's impact on the WNBA's popularity is likely to keep rising. We're already witnessing a significant boost in viewership and fan engagement. If this trend continues, we could be on the verge of a new golden era for professional women's basketball, leading to more investments in the league, better contracts for players, increased media coverage, and possibly even expansion to new cities. The possibilities are endless. Additionally, Clark is inspiring the next generation. How many young athletes are watching her now, dreaming of becoming the next Caitlin Clark? She's fueling a new wave of talent that will only strengthen the WNBA further. Finally, let's consider Clark's legacy. If she maintains this trajectory, we're not just talking about a great player. We could be witnessing the rise of one of the greatest of all time. she has the potential to be to the WNBA what legends like Michael Jordan and LeBron James are to the NBA. However, it's not all smooth sailing. As Clark continues to dominate and draw attention, the pressure mounts. Expectations are sky high. She set a tremendous standard in her rookie season, and everyone expects her to surpass it every game. What happens if she has a bad night or goes through a scoring slump? Critics will be quick to pounce. Then there's the physical toll. The WNBA season is long and demanding, especially for a rookie. Clark is logging more minutes, facing tougher defenses, and traveling extensively. Can she maintain this level of performance through the season and into the playoffs? And let's not overlook the mental strain. With every move scrutinized and every word analyzed, the pressure is immense. Will she be able to stay focused and continue performing at an elite level? So, what do you think? Will Caitlin Clark keep dominating and break all the records we've discussed? Or will other teams find a way to challenge her? And what are your thoughts on Sophie Cunningham's comments? Do you agree that the criticism Clark is facing stems from jealousy? Or do you believe there are legitimate concerns?
Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball. Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Have you caught what Juju Watkins said about Caitlin Clark? The basketball scene is electric, and the WNBA's usual figures are rushing to stay composed. Picture this: a 19-year-old college athlete exhibiting more class, respect, and leadership than veterans who've been in the league for years. Watkins just spoke some real talk, stirring up a league that clearly needs a reality check. And guess what? Angel Reese isn't brushing off Watkins' support for Caitlin Clark.
After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine.
Let's set the scene. The WNBA has transformed into a drama series lately, with Angel Reese striving to be the leading star. Take, for example, the exaggerated buzz surrounding her Vogue cover. You'd think she revolutionized the game based on how they're celebrating it.
Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has just earned Time's Athlete of the Year, one of the most esteemed honors in all of sports, and the league barely took notice. It's almost laughable. Clark's accomplishments are monumental, yet it seems the WNBA has chosen to highlight the wrong narrative.
What would you say was the greater accomplishment? The cover of Vogue magazine or Athlete of the Year? Without a doubt, Athlete of the Year is the far greater honor. So I am incredibly confused with the difference in response to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Let's be real for a moment. Vogue is undoubtedly a significant milestone in pop culture, but it's far from the ultimate achievement. On the other hand, Time's Athlete of the Year is a worldwide honor that places Clark alongside legends like LeBron James and Simone Biles, athletes who have transformed their respective sports. The contrast is immense. One accolade celebrates genuine greatness, while the other offers a temporary spotlight. Reese's cover may be trendy, but Clark's award solidifies her legacy.
You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine? Not Female Athlete of the Year, I'm talking about Athlete of the Year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr.
And here's the catch. The WNBA seems unable to prioritize effectively. They're elevating Reese's Vogue feature as if it's the league's most significant event in years. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's remarkable achievements are being dismissed as an afterthought. It's almost humiliating to witness how they're manipulating the narrative, and Juju Watkins is not standing for it.
All kidding aside, I am happy for Angel Reese. Judging by some of her comments, Angel Reese dreams of being a fashion icon, which makes sense. I mean, seriously, what child grows up with dreams of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA? What child grows up with dreams of playing pretend basketball in empty high school gym?
What we're seeing isn't merely a difference in accomplishments, it's a prime example of how the WNBA chooses to direct its focus. Caitlin Clark is elevating the game to new heights, demonstrating that women's basketball deserves a place on the global stage. Angel Reese? She's preoccupied with garnering praise for herself. The distinction couldn't be more apparent. Regarding Caitlin Clark's latest extraordinary achievements, the WNBA has remained silent. It's almost as though they're intimidated by what Clark stands for. This isn't just any athlete we're discussing. Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, a transformative force who's redefining women's basketball. Instead of honoring her as the superstar she truly is, the league is behaving as if she doesn't exist at all. It's ridiculous.
Although I am happy for Angel Reese for achieving her lifelong dream of landing the cover of Vogue magazine and being viewed as a fashion icon, I thought the celebration from the media was a bit strange. Some might even call it hypocritical.
So how did the WNBA react to Clark being named Time's Athlete of the Year? Oh, you're going to find this amusing. Instead of rolling out the red carpet or even sending a simple congratulatory tweet, they chose to ignore her. That's right, complete silence. It's as if they've slipped into an alternate reality where Clark's monumental success doesn't even matter. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the WNBA is busy pretending Clark isn't carrying the league on her shoulders, the broader sports world has taken notice. Clark isn't just being compared to her peers in women's basketball anymore. She's being mentioned alongside the biggest names in all of sports. That's a big deal, folks. And yet, the WNBA seems determined to treat her as an afterthought.
Angel Reese was celebrated for landing the cover of some magazine that no one reads anymore, while Caitlin Clark, she was vilified.
You'd expect the league to be thrilled about having a superstar who single-handedly fills arenas. We're talking about sold-out games wherever she plays. Meanwhile, most WNBA games struggle to attract spectators. The contrast is immense. But instead of capitalizing on Clark's star power, the league is treating her success as a challenge to be managed rather than a victory to be celebrated.
This is how Caitlin Clark was treated by jealous players who directly benefit from her star power. It's also how she was treated by those in the media who also benefit from the drawing power of Caitlin Clark.
What's genuinely unfolding here? It seems the WNBA is apprehensive about success, particularly when it's embodied by Caitlin Clark. She's drawing massive crowds and setting new records. Yet, instead of embracing this momentum, the league appears to be overlooking it. It's a peculiar example of self-sabotage.
Caitlin Clark was pressured by the media to share her honor with unknown and undeserving WNBA players who contributed absolutely nothing to the elevation of the league last season.
And here's the twist. While the WNBA keeps dropping the ball, other players are stepping up to give Clark the recognition she truly deserves. Enter Juju Watkins, the 19-year-old phenom who's wise beyond her years. Watkins openly lauded Clark's influence, demonstrating more maturity than the entire WNBA combined. Just imagine that, a teenager acknowledging greatness while the league itself chooses to ignore it.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Clark isn't merely a star. She's a movement. She's transcending the sport, standing alongside the biggest names in all of athletics. Yet, instead of celebrating her, the WNBA is treating her rise as something to fear. It's downright comical. As the league continues its awkward dance around Clark's success, Watkins is out here dropping truth bombs that have everyone talking.
But after reading her recent interview with Fox News, Juju Watkins, she has earned some of my respect. After reading this interview with Fox News, it became abundantly clear that Juju Watkins, she gets it.
So what's the WNBA's ultimate plan here? Are they genuinely expecting Clark's impact to simply vanish? Spoiler, that's not going to happen. She's drawing unparalleled attention to women's basketball, and their reaction is complete silence. Meanwhile, athletes like Watkins are demonstrating that the next generation understands the significance. They recognize the bigger picture.
Fox asked her about the influx of attention that Caitlin Clark brought to women's basketball. Here is what Juju Watkins said. So many new fans in the sport can sometimes be a headache. Not everyone knows what they're talking about, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. As long as we continue to raise the numbers and viewership goes up, I think that's all we can ask for.
Juju Watkins isn't just thriving on the court, she's showing the league how to truly embrace success. At only 19, she's already accomplishing what the WNBA should have achieved years ago, giving Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserves and demonstrating that women's basketball belongs on the global stage. It's almost poetic. While the WNBA falters, the youngest voices are stepping up to lead the way. The offseason at the Indiana Fever is on fire. Rumors about Nalissa Smith are swirling, and tensions between her and Caitlin Clark are reaching a boiling point. Let's dive into the drama and uncover what's really going on once and for all. The Indiana Fever have had an amazing season with remarkable highs and challenging lows, but nothing could have prepared them for the shock caused by Nalissa Smith's actions, which many see as an unexpected betrayal. Smith's recent behavior has created friction within the team and has fans questioning the future of the Indiana Fever. We'll explore the controversy, fan and teammate reactions, and the potential consequences for both Smith and the Fever. It all started with a tweet. Nalissa Smith posted a photo of herself in a purple car with the caption, "Purple looks good on us." This innocent post caught the attention of Paige Buchers, a standout college basketball player, who responded with fire emojis. Smith's reply, "You just gotta let him be delusional," sparked rumors about her future with the Fever. The timing was bad, as the Fever were celebrating Caitlin Clark's record-breaking 35-point game, securing the 6th playoff seed after an impressive 18-10 run following a poor 2-9 start. Instead of focusing on their resurgence, Smith's tweet brought attention to internal conflicts. Sources say Caitlin Clark confronted Smith about the tweet, questioning her commitment and highlighting Smith's dissatisfaction with her role and playing time. During the regular season finale against the Dallas Wings, Smith started the game, scored 8 points, and grabbed 6 rebounds in 19 minutes before being benched for the second half. Frustrated, she posted, "Fun while it lasted, babe," in response to her girlfriend's supportive message, hinting at tensions with teammates and coaching staff. The public reaction was swift and harsh. Fans flooded social media with calls for Smith's removal, using hashtags like #TeamCaitlin and #TeamNalissa. Many felt betrayed by her perceived lack of loyalty, especially given her strong performances and high expectations. Sports analysts debated whether Smith's actions were due to deeper team issues or mere miscommunication. Some defended her frustrations over reduced playing time, while others criticized her professionalism and its impact on team morale. Head coach Christy Sides is in a tough spot, trying to maintain team unity while addressing the backlash. She issued a statement about handling matters privately, but insiders say she's deeply concerned about the situation's impact on the playoffs. Several options are being considered: team meeting and reconciliation, addressing issues directly to encourage open communication, disciplinary action, ranging from fines to temporary suspension to reinforce team cohesion, trade speculations, exploring trade options, though Smith is under contract until 2026. Public apology. Smith could apologize publicly to mend relationships and quell fan outrage. Meanwhile, NaLyssa Smith remains active on social media. Fans are questioning her commitment to the game as she continues to clash out with her star teammate Clark. People are wondering, is this all because of jealousy, due to Caitlyn stealing the spotlight? Smith's on-court performance has declined in the last season, averaging 10.5 points and 7.2 rebounds per game, down from last year's 15.5 points and 9.2 rebounds. Her playing time has also decreased from 30.7 minutes in 2022 to 25 minutes now. The Fever exercised their fourth-year option on her contract, securing her through 2025 with a salary increase next year. While her financial future with the team is secure, her role and satisfaction remain uncertain, as it's very likely we will not see her return after this upcoming season. Whether this incident becomes a catalyst for growth or a source of division depends on how the Fever, especially Smith and Clark, choose to move forward. This controversy also highlights the broader impact of social media on professional sports, reminding athletes to balance personal expression with professional responsibilities.